Hariom everyone, welcome to this class on Kathopnishad. Starting with the chanting first. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam
वीर्यं
Karvavahe
करवावहै
Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai.
तेजस्विनावहै
Om
ॐ
Shanti Shanti Shanti
शान्तिः
Om Gananam Tva Ganpatigam Havamahi Kavim Kavinam Upamasravastamam Jeshtharajan Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashrinvannuti Sadhanam Om Shri Mahaganpatoye Namaha Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara
महेश्वरा
Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, welcome to this class on Kathopnishad. This is the 24th class in the series that we are doing. So, we are now on to the second chapter, Dvitiya Adhyay, part 1, Pratham Valli. Second chapter, Dvitiya Adhyay, Pratham Valli. And we are approaching the end of this one. We have 15 mantras here. So, we have completed the 11th. Just we'll have a quick recap of the 11th mantra and then we move on to the next ones. So this is the one that we were discussing in the last class. Manase vedamaptavyam nehana nasti kinchana mrityo samrityum gacchati ya iha nane pashyati. Manase vedamaptavyam nehana nasti kinchana Mrityo samrityum gacchati ya iha nane pashyati. So manasa eva idam aptavyam. This knowledge, this self-knowledge can only be grasped through the mind. The mind has to be made an instrument. And neha nanasti kinchana. Na iha nana asti kinchana. There is not even the slightest of duality in this whole creation also that we perceive. It is just a projection on that one and one only Atma. So what about the person who has such a vision of duality? Nityoho samrityum gacchati. The person who sees duality, sa yaiha naneva pashyati, who sees duality here, he keeps going from one death to another. So we saw the different contexts of this death also. So when we are talking about the Atma, then I am first of all dissociating myself from my wrong notions that I am the body or I am the mind. So the three sharirams that we saw, the stool shariram, the gross body, then the sukshma shariram, that includes the mind and the sense organs and the intellect, and then also the five pranas, so 17 components, and then finally, the Karan Sharir, the causal body containing all the impressions of all our previous births. So that causal body contains what we call the samskaras, and the main thing behind it is ajnanam. In the causal body is the ignorance that I am not Atma, the wrong notion. And through that wrong notion is born this whole world of names and forms. Right. So in this way, we have seen here, manasa eva idam aptavyam. It is through only the mind only that this knowledge can be attained to. Right. So this manyness or the divisions that we see that are perceptible to us in this world, they are not present in the ultimate reality, which is Atma, which is also my true nature. So this can only be grasped by a purified mind. We saw earlier, manasa eva idam aptavyam. Difference or duality has no essence, or it has no reality, or it has no existence. it is perceived only by an ignorant mind. Just like we see a movie and we see so many things happening, they are not real. We know that it is just a projection, right? Right. So in this way, or we saw the example of the dream state. So ignorant mind cannot understand this. Only an illumined mind, the mind that has received the knowledge of Shastra, right? So first, Jnanam will come not through something that is told by someone. It will come through Shastra, because Shastra has the knowledge which is beyond the sense organs also, right? So therefore, and how has that come down to us? It has come down to us through those who had purified their minds to perceive that knowledge in their higher states of meditation, the rishis. So now, if difference was real, if this names and forms, this separation was real, we would have to do work, or we have to do effort to remove it. But we have seen from the examples of the rishis that what goes away by knowledge, it doesn't really exist, right? If something that with knowledge it has disappeared, that means it had no independent existence of my own. It is created by my own vasanas. So therefore, division that we see is imagined. And hence to remove it, only the knowledge of the oneness, which is provided to us by Shastra, like we have this Kathopnishad that we are looking. So that knowledge alone is sufficient. And what we have to give up, giving up of the imagination of duality. So giving up of the imagination of duality, we call it by neti neti. Negate everything that has a name and form. Negate everything that has a name and form. And then we go into our own true nature by what we call the process of merging everything. So first of all, how is the universe projected? It is called the projection through Maya, that we call Vikshape. So Maya, through its power, it projects this whole universe of names and forms. So when through knowledge I understand that there is only one tattva, one only reality, then I do the reverse process. The reverse process is what we call laya, right? So we have seen this laya many times earlier also. In laya, what I do is I merge everything that I see into that final consciousness. So the body, I am not the body, I am not the mind. And what is the body made of? The five elements. So where have the five elements come from? They have come from Maya, and there are intermediate stages also. So ultimately, the Maya also is a Shakti. It's a power. It's an energy. An energy cannot exist without the holder of that energy, Shaktiman. So the holder of that energy is Brahman, Brahman, or Atma. So we, yes, Anita, you want to ask something?
Yes, sir. You said the knowledge also is a modification. It will go away. It's not true. Are you differentiating between two different kinds of knowledge here, sir?
Knowledge will go away. No, knowledge won't go away. Knowledge, wrong knowledge will go away. Wrong knowledge. So whenever we see an illusion, we are affected by, we think that it is real. So once we understand the true nature, once the true nature dawns, then that thing will go away. Like so we see the examples that we give regularly, like we see a snake on the rope. So I can be seeing that snake on the rope for millennia also, as long as there is not sufficient light. But once light dawns, then this goes away. So so what we call the illusion or the wrong knowledge, it can capture us, right? Because of our mind, we get trapped in that. But once the right knowledge dawns, then the illusion, even though it won't move away from our eyes, but through knowledge, we can learn to negate it, right? So in this way, this is the way in which we can remove that wrong knowledge, right? Okay. So now, so how do we reach this knowledge? We don't if we have to go to another city, we have to travel. No? We can't reach there by imagination. I want to go to Delhi and next day I find myself there only. It will never happen. No? So, but if we are in Delhi or any other city and let us say we are driving. Let us say we are driving our car and we are traveling somewhere, and or we are looking to reach Delhi, and we also have to travel beyond also. Then let us say that we reach that place, we reach Delhi, and then we are not sure. So like our Google Maps is not working. So then when what will happen? We have to ask someone. So if we ask someone how far Delhi is, then merely by removing the delusion, no, we can reach Delhi. Just by him telling you are already in Delhi, sir, you're already reached, so you don't have to go anywhere. So without that, without any going anywhere, you will reach there, right? So this is removal of ignorance. So similarly, due to ignorance, we think we are separate from Ishvara. We are separate from Atma, or Ishvara is something separate from us. So that is not a real difference. Right? So which might need, karma, we call it, which might need effort. It might need any kind of effort to remove it. Only needs the right knowledge, right? So in the world also we see, if we need to do effort to attain something, then through that effort, the object will be attained only through effort only. But if something is attained through knowledge, then it is already was there. Like we saw in, there is an example in Atma Bodha also, that someone was wearing a necklace, and then suddenly it somehow shifted to the backside and he couldn't find it, and then he kept searching. So then someone said, no sir, it is on your backside, you have just put it in reverse, and then he found it. So what did he do? He didn't find it, actually he didn't and he didn't make any effort to do it, no. Just by the knowledge, he was just like a lot of people. They put the spectacles on the head, and then they're searching for the spectacles. So this knowledge that we are hearing about, this Atmagyanam, this can happen only with a single pointed or pure mind, like we saw in the in the first adhyaya, third Valli. So there we saw that when there is a many pointed or scattered mind, then we will see duality. But a focused mind endowed with the knowledge of Shastra, he will see unity. So unfocused we see duality, focused we see unity. So on that, our moksha depends, our bondage and liberation depend. So whether we will continue in this bondage, it will depend on this mind only. The desire-ridden mind will always stay in bondage, while the desireless mind will reach liberation. So mind, it hides in this fortress of ignorance. It totally holds on to it inwardly. So therefore, it is necessary to break that fortress, to get out of those shackles, so that it cannot hide and make it. And then we have to focus it. So for liberation, mind alone needs to be used. Manasa eva idam aptavyam. So there is no other option. We saw manonash, we saw last class also, the destroying of the mind, it will not be of any use. Controlling is the main objective. So a mind that is hidden in ignorance, it won't give pain, but also can't give the joy of liberation. Once the knowledge of liberation is secured, once you know that you are that Atma, then mind is not needed. Then, because then another experience of liberation is not needed. But to reach that state, the experience of the knowledge which leads to liberation is needed. So thus we talked about this fortress of ignorance that surrounds us. It is breached, it is broken past by the Mahavakya. Mahavakya revealing my true nature. Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, all the Brahmatma. There are four major ones we talked about, but there are literally thousands scattered through our scriptures. So then, in that state, the mind becomes objectless. No object is needed to be perceived that state, and we attain that state of unity, oneness. So a yogi, one who is really focused inwards, he will go ahead and reach this state. So we'll go to the next one then. Angusht matra purushah madhya atmani tishtati ईशानो भूतभव्यस्य न ततो विजुगुप्सते एतद् वै तत्. Once more. अंगुष्ठमात्रः पुरुषः मध्य आत्मनि तिष्ठति ईशानो भूतभव्यस्य न ततो विजुगुप्सते एतद् वै तत्. So Angushta Matra Purusha, that Jivatma, that inner controller, that inner consciousness that we have within us, that is helping us operate, where does it stay? Madhya Atmani Tishtati. So Atmani is self, here it is used for the body, in the middle of the body, in the central part. It will be repeated with more clarity in the next verse. These two are very connected verses. And Ishano Bhuta Bhavyasya. This This Atma, we think that it is there only, but actually it is all pervading. So why we think of it, we'll look at it. So this Atma is the ruler of Bhuta and Bhavya, means the past and the present. That includes the past and the future, sorry. So that means this Atma will, we have, Shruti has given us the magical words telling us that it is not limited by time. Bhut and Bhavya. It will always be there. So our body will go away with time, and even our mind and all will merge away with time. But this Atma will never go away. So na tato vijugupsate. Once who has learned this knowledge, he will never have any kind of negativity in his mind. He will have no kind of hatred in his mind. Etad vetat. So this is the Atma that is Vijugupsate is mainly you don't have any kind of hatred or negativity. So someone who has known the Atma, then who is there beyond, behind him or other than him whom he will hate? No, no, everyone, in everyone he will see his own reflection. All the beings of the universe, all the objects of the universe, and all the worlds within also, he will have no hatred, right? So he will do vyavahara, he will do transaction, but he will not be affected by any kind of negativity. So he might even hurt someone. He might say something negative to someone, but he will always do it for that person's good or for saving someone from a adharmic activity. So there is adharma in the world. He will learn to uh, fight that adharma without having any negative thought. So usually when we do any kind of negative thing to someone, we suffer a lot. No, we suffer a lot because we have done something harmful. And for such a person, he sees where it is essential. Of course, if it can be done without that, that will always be his first priority. But he will never shy away from what needs to be done to establish dharma. So always there are two forces in this universe. One is the positive, one is the negative, the dharma and adharma. So it is not necessary that dharma will not entail any kind of violence or kind of uh, any kind of tough activity, we can say. Right? Dharma can be there. So if in the Kaurava and Pandava war, both are fighting the war, but the Pandavas are on the dharmic side. So even what they are doing is dharmic. They are fighting against those who are establishing a dharmic route. So that way we always have to make sure with when we are established in this knowledge, we have to treat everyone according to the way they treat others in the world. Right. So if someone does wrong to someone, that person needs to be punished. If in the most justified or most honorable way without causing least pain to anyone, right? Without causing pain to anyone unless where necessary. Where necessary, it will be done. So this person, Tatona Vijugupsate, he will not have the normal hatred, or even if something he has done that is a very strong reaction, he will not be able to have this negativity. So this Atma, this Jiva Atma is situated middle of the body, or you can say in around the heart. So, this is the place which we call the center of the consciousness, right? It's just not that the consciousness is there only, consciousness is everywhere, but this is the center of the consciousness. So this is from where from? The heart. The heart, yeah. So Madhya Atmani is, this is the heart is considered. So here the basically the essential identity of the individual self, that is the microcosm, the Vyashti, and the universal self, that is the microcosm, the Samashti, is revealed once again. This oneness. So how? So first, the nature of Jivatma is pointed out in the first line. Purushaha is equal to here Jivatma, right? Here it is Jivatma, and in Sahasra Shirsha Purusha, that is Paramatma. We see in Purusukta. Tomorrow we'll see. So where is this Jivatma located? Madhye Atmani Tishtati. So this Jivatma is located as though, as though in the center of the individual body. So Madhye Atmani Tishtati. So Atmani means Sharir here. So normally the word Atma means, does not mean body, but in this context, always somewhere it can mean mind, somewhere it can mean body, and so on. So whatever I think of as myself, you can use that word Atma. So Jivatma is located in the body, but where in the body? In the heart of the body, because heart is the center, we say. So that is why when any office or any building in the center of the city is there, we say it is in the heart of the city, right? We say it is the central part of the city. So therefore, Atmani Madhye Hriday Deshe Tishtati. And why do we say Jivatma is in the Hridayam? So really speaking, Jivatma is the consciousness. Consciousness is not located in one place. We saw because it has no form. So you cannot confine it to any place. Huh? So it's not located in one place, but still it is presented as though located. Why? To indicate that the Jivatma is the witness of your thoughts. Drashta hai, dekhne wala hai. So Jivatma is also to be understood as the consciousness principle, which is aware of, no, which is the illuminator of the conditions of the mind. It sees everything that the mind is doing. So, so by the mind, this consciousness operates. So, manasi Sakshi Vartate. It is the witness of the thoughtful condition of the mind during the Jagrita Avastha and Swapna Avastha. And also, when the mind is going into deep sleep, it is also a witness of the thoughtless condition of the mind. And that is during Sushupti, deep sleep. So, the three avasthas, Jagrit, Swapna, Sushupti, the three states through which this consciousness operates, in all these states, the consciousness is present, right? So, both of them are known by the consciousness principle, which is the Sakshi of the mind, and it is called here Purusha. So, according to Shastra, the mind is located within the heart. It is not supposed to be in the brain. Many people think because in modern science, when we are talking about brain, but brain is basically the physical body part, physical body. But mind, we say, is subtle. So it is sukshma. So it can also have an area of presence, but it can also travel. That is why mind can, feel all the feelings from anywhere in the body and also receive inputs from the outside. So outside also it's traveling. So that is why there is no restriction for that. So it is not supposed to be in the brain. So according to Shastra, it is in the heart. So therefore, people talk about the left side of the heart and the right side of the heart. So Shakracharya Bhagavan says there is only one heart, which is the physical heart. So in this within this center, this consciousness resides. So heart, it belongs to this physical heart belongs to the sthul shariram, but this mind belongs to the sukshma shariram. मन जो है सूक्ष्म शरीर का भाग. So body, we usually say body is the temple, and within this devata, this manasi devata, he resides. So now, wherever when this consciousness is there, what is the function of this consciousness? Illumining whatever is happening in the mind, illumining the mind, whatever thoughts are there in the mind, like the light here is illuminating whatever is happening in this room. So if my body moves, the light will not move. But since the mind is supposed to be within the heart, what will be the size of the mind? Even though the mind doesn't have a size at all, but if you want to give an imaginary size, what will your conception be? Whatever is the space within your heart, right? So when if you talk about the space within the heart, the size of the heart, we usually say is the shape of a fist. Yes. So it is this is the size of your heart. Your fist will be your heart. Yes. So someone with a smaller hand will have a smaller heart. And then, so if you do it like this, how much space is within it? Put your thumb inside. Yeah. So you can see that the space is almost apt to accommodate your thumb. Therefore, we say the size of the space is the size of the thumb, and within that space, mind is there. And I don't know if which of you have ever been to a death in a Hindu tradition, and when you go to the Shamshan Ghat, and there we search for the Atmaram. So there it is that there is a bone which is said to house the Atma. So that is exactly the size of this thumb only. So that is also one thing that we know from those who have seen it in the experience. Though it is said to be auspicious when you find it. So you keep whoever finds it when you are going through those asthis. So therefore, the size of the space is the size of the thumb. And within the space, mind is there. And inside the mind is the consciousness. Therefore, Upanishad says consciousness is as though the size of the thumb. Angushta matra. Matra means measurement. Huh? So if ma basically means to measure something, right? So your mother knows you most well because she is mata. She can measure you. She knows everything about you, right? Even your thoughts. Yeah. I don't know how many have experienced this, but sometimes your mother will call you up and you are thinking something and she will tell you that this is are you worried or is there some problem? They can feel you. Mothers can feel, even if their children are far away, right? So, Angushta Matra Purusha. And what is the nature of this Atma, this Jivatma? Inshanaha Bhuta Bhavyasya. So, the thumb size is as though only. So, if the thumb size is as though, then the question comes to mind, what is the real size of this Jivatma? Upanishad is telling here. Is telling her Ishanaha Bhuta Bhavyasya. This small Kendra, the small center through which this Atma is operating, actually it is not limited to that only. It is pervading everything, all pervading, right? That is how it is able to rule over everything in the past and will rule over everything in the future. In the future, this body be there? This body will be gone. So who will be there? The Atma will be there. Even after the body is gone, this Atma will be there. So the Jiva Atma, which is the size of the thumb, is really speaking the all pervading Paramatma only. So Jiva Atma, Paramatma, Ekyam is expressed here. So Ishanha means Paramatma only, the controller, or you can say the Srishti Sthiti Laya Karta, Srishti Sthiti Laya Karanam, the one from whom the creation has emerged, the one who maintains the creation Sthiti, and the one into whom the creation merges, Laya. So the entire creation belonging to the past as well as the future, which includes the present also. So in short, Jivatma seems to be limited, but really speaking, it is the limitless Paramatma. Right? I'm repeating these because these are very important thoughts relating to the whole Upanishad statements. Right? So when you talk about the space, like we can say, we can understand this unlimited thing. When you're talking about the space within a pot, we take a pot. We use the expression that there is a small amount of space, let us say like 1 liter, 2 liter, 4 liter, whatever the size of the pot, right? So, but if you make an inquiry, if you think carefully, you will find that the expression limited space is a mistake or a delusion or an illusion, because you see the space as limited because you are talking about the space within the pot. But on inquiry, space is not within the pot. Space is not only within the pot, you can say. Really speaking, space is also outside the pot. So, in fact, if you make further inquiry, it is neither within the pot nor outside the pot. But all the pots are within the space. Everything is within this space only. Same way, initially we talk about the limited consciousness within the heart. Yahan pe hai. And then limitless consciousness outside. So ultimately we say there is no question of having two separate ones, inner and outer. Inner and outer are the same. Right? So ultimately we say there is no consciousness of consciousness within and outside. So we use this concept when we do pranayam also. When we do pranayam, what do we do? We do the Antah Kumbhak. So when we do Antah Kumbhak, what we do? We take our breath deep inside and we hold it. We hold it inside. So when we are holding it, what is the bhava that we should have? What is the feeling we should have? The bhava should be that the whole of creation has entered into me. Ishvara has entered into me, right? And that is the state that induces the most deepest of meditations, right? We do pranayam before meditation, no? So with pranayam is not just breathing exercise. It's not just doing this thing. So it has to be done with a feeling. एक भाव के साथ करना होता है. So once you do with that feeling, when you do the Anta Kumbhak, you have absorbed whole of the creation within you. And then what about outside? When we release the breath, when we release it outside, that this whole of myself, this whole being, this Jivatma that I consider as limited, I am offering to Ishvara. So when you breathe out and hold your breath outwards, that Bahi Kumbhak we call it, in that breath, you are putting yourself in the bhava that I have surrendered my whole self to Ishvara. So Ishvara only remains. So that is a more intimate feeling when you do it outside. तो सब कुछ बाहर निकाल दिया सब छोड़ I give up all ego. I give up all ownership. So that is why when you do this with bhava again and again, then slowly meditation states come in. So a lot of people think no that I am doing pranayam and after that this will happen. So that will not happen so quickly. Then you'll have to put some more time into the meditation. So if you start this way, it will happen faster. Your samadhi or meditational state, it will come very, very fast. So so for such a person, what will happen? Tato na vijugupsate. Never, he will not have any hatred, or you can also use another word. He will never feel any insecurity. Right? Vijugupsa also means seeking security. So as long as I take myself to be the body, I will keep seeking security. I will need more money. I will need more resources. Even if I have a house, I need a bigger house. So this it never ends. So I will always feel that I need more and more to feel secure. But Vedanta teaches us what? If you understand your true nature, you will never seek your security anywhere else. That security you will seek with the Lord. So whatever is needed for you through your karma, you will achieve it. Or whatever is required, it will come to you. But you don't need to have that notion that you are ever insecure. Because a whole universe is an extension of you only or extension of Ishvara only. So we are trying to get security for the ever insecure body, which we will never succeed. Only security is what? Recognizing the fact that I am not the body, but I am the consciousness operating within the body. And etad vaitad. It is this consciousness that you are talking about within your being, etat vai tat. That means Brahman or that highest consciousness or Ishvara, the unlimited consciousness. So your consciousness and that consciousness is the same. So this is also a Mahavakya. It is telling the oneness. So in this way, continue. So same thought is presented here in a slightly different way. Angushtamatra Purushah Jyotirib Adhumakah Ishano Bhutbhavyasya Sa Evadya Sa Ushvah Etadvaitat Angushtamatra Purushah Jyotirivadhumakah Ishano Bhutbhavyasya Sa Evadya Sa Ushvah Etadvaitat. So Angushta Matra Purusha we saw earlier, same as previous verse. Jyotihi Iva Adhumaka. It is like a light without any kind of smoke, or you can say any kind of mixture or any kind of impurity. So this Purusha is like a pure light without any kind of dirt or impurity. And again, the same thought, that never forget Ishano Bhuta Bhavyasa. It is the same as that universal consciousness only, which is the ruler of the past and the future. Sa eva adya sa ushvaha. So that consciousness is here now also, and sa ushvaha, it will be in the future also, right? So here, in from the previous verse, what is the difference? There it was past and future, here present and future also. Just in case that some lazy student didn't didn't think in the wrong way that the present has been omitted, so maybe I'm not here now. But actually it is not needed. In the present, I am always aware that I exist. That knowledge never goes away. Na? So what you have to basically think about is the past. Was I ever there in the past? That is the original question of the student only. Na? कि ये आत्मा बाहर में भी रहेगा कि नहीं, will it be there after death also? That is the main question. This is where it is answered. No, it is there. It will be there in the future also. It will always exist in the future also. Right? So this Atma is again here represented as what we call a Mahavakya, re-emphasizing the same Jivatma Paramatma Ekyam topic. So Purusha Angushtamatra, the Jivatma seemingly confined to the body, which is a natural misconception because we experience consciousness only within the periphery of the body. So all over the body, I feel the consciousness up to the tips of my foot nails and to the head. All over, I can feel that the consciousness is there. So therefore, I cannot rule it out from anywhere within the body. The mantra here says, it is there beyond the body also, or beyond this times also. So now if somebody asks, is consciousness beyond the finger? What will be our answer based on experience? That consciousness stops within the periphery of the body. And therefore, seemingly, you will feel by your experience, the Jivatma is finite. It is a limited one. Angushta Matra, located or seated in the Hridaya. But what is the nature of the Atma here? What is the nature of this Jivatma? It is consciousness. Jyoti iva. So Jyoti, why do we use the word Jyoti? Because Jyoti is light, right? And through light, we shine it on something, or we illuminate something, right? We illuminate something. So consciousness also is the same. Yeah, but in a more higher sense. So through consciousness, what is happening? We are experiencing everything. So just like through light, I can see something. Through consciousness, I can hear something. So hearing is a light. Your hearing power is a light which illuminates the object of that hearing. What is the object? The object is a sound, right? So same way for all the five sense objects, this light can cognize. This chetana, this consciousness, ये जान पाती है. It can know all of these sense objects, right? So the ears will know sound, the eyes will know form, the skin will know touch, the tongue will know taste, and shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, and finally gandha. The nose will know smell. So all the sense objects, through this consciousness, they are illuminated. They are known. So the consciousness illuminates them, and that is how we can know them. वो ही चेतना इन सारे विषयों को प्रकाशित करती है. इसे the word प्रकाशित. So प्रकाशित here is used as jyoti. So this is like a jyoti iva adhumakah. So what about the natural light? Sometimes there is a tube light. After some time there will be a black layer of some dust on that. The light will reduce, right? The light will reduce. But this light is ever without any kind of impurity. Jyoti iva adhumakah. There is no, it is a smokeless flame, which means a bright flame capable of illuminating everything. So similarly, consciousness is capable of illuminating everything. So in the Shastra, light is used in a technical sense. Here we saw. So light is defined as that in which whose presence things are known. So therefore, only in the presence of the mind things are known, and in the absence of the mind things cannot be known. Therefore, even the mind cannot be compared to another light. So because when the mind is knowing something, then the consciousness has to be present. A lot of you would have observed something. No, sometimes some person just crosses past you, and then later he asks, I passed by you, I even gave you a smile, you didn't even respond." So what is happening? The mind is there, but it is not observing. So therefore, the consciousness is not available. Consciousness is always available, but the mind may not be available. So consciousness has the power to know always. So jyoti iva adhumaka. So in this way, we saw all the sense organs you can compare to a light. So only. Dhumak means clear. Dhumak, dhua, impurity. Oh. So therefore, this consciousness is called Jyoti Vadhumaka. Or in the Mundak Upanishad, there is another similar word, Jyotisham Jyotihi, the light of all lights. It is the one through which all lights are established. So even this light that I am able to perceive, it is due to the consciousness. So this flame expression is only in a figurative expression. You should not take it literally. You don't sit in meditation and think that in meditation a flame will appear inside and you can see it, and that is your consciousness. Don't look for it in that way. This is the light of consciousness, the flame of consciousness. So This Jivatma, the consciousness which illumines everything in all the three states, all three avasthas. It is none other than the Paramatma only. Ishanaha, Paramatma. This Jivatma is none other than Paramatma, which is the controller of Bhut Bhavya. We saw in the last mantra also. So here also it is repeated. Now some points are very, very important. That is why Shruti will repeat that. Usually in Shruti it is considered wrong to repeat something. So when Shruti is repeating something, it is based only to amplify the teaching that something very special is being said here. There are two methods in which Shruti emphasizes something, right? So one is this method, by repetition, very rarely, so that when there is a repetition, you know this is something important. And the second is there will be a change. So suddenly you are going through, going in the reading the Anushtup Chanda. Anushtup. And then suddenly Trishtup will come. So Anushtup is the smaller Chanda with which we have eight syllables in both the lines. So 8, 8, 8, 8. But Trishtup has 8, 8, 8, 3 and then 8, 8, 8, 3. So 24, 24 syllables, right? So that is a longer one. So suddenly, so like in Gita, a second chapter up to the 18th verse, it is in Anushtup. Then suddenly, Najayate Mriyate Va Kadachit. You're talking about Atma, and the chand will change. So it happens now. Like if you are singing something, and then suddenly the tune changes, and your attention, even if it was elsewhere, suddenly you notice. So same way also. So these are the two methods by which Shruti catches your attention and directs it. So here the direction is repeating. So by Ishana Bhut Bhavyasya, and of course Etad Vetat is repeated in a lot of the mantras because it is talking about this is the consciousness you are searching for. And this consciousness is that highest consciousness. Etad Vaitat. So that is why a lot of mantras serially you have seen, no? Etad Vaitat, Etad Vaitat, Etad Vaitat. So 7th, 8th, 9th, then 10th. No, not 10th, sorry. 12th, 13. Earlier also. So in this way. So this means that the plurality that you see is only apparent. And this plurality that you see in the world, it is only apparent. It is not real. So if you remember the example of the light, we gave another example earlier. There is a lighthouse. There is a lighthouse, and there is a light within that, and there is a rotating box around that light, which has three different holes. And then when you know that light rotates, then when that outer core rotates, then you will see the light coming through the different hole, and it will appear like the light is moving. Suddenly the bursts of light will come from within that. So what is happening there? Is the light moving actually? No. So that is like the light of consciousness. Light is not moving. It is the movement of the object outside, because of which there is the illusion. There is the illusion that there is something is moving. Similarly, like we see in a movie camera, when you're using a projector. So projector is what? The movement of light. You are putting different slides, and you see a whole movie is created. So what is happening? One light only. And through that, you are able to see a whole movie that is created. Why? Because of the projection in between, because of this slides that we call, no, that will come, and that projection will happen. So thus we can, just like the movie, a whole movie can be projected, our consciousness also can project this whole world of names and forms, right? So therefore this plurality that we see is apparent, it is not real. So this light that you see, the moving light, it is a good example to understand. So there is no question of motion in this light. Therefore, this bahutvam or this manyness that we see, or this chalanam, that movement that we see, they do not belong to that light. It belongs to something else. So similarly, consciousness does not move at all. It is like the space. It is also all pervading. Of course, it is more pervading than the space. Space will end at the universe boundary, but this goes beyond any boundaries and so on. So what moves is the devices. What are the devices? In our case, it is the body mind complex. Body moves, the mind moves. So because of that, there is a experience of plurality. And there is, of course, you have this plurality in the body mind complex also. There is motion in the body mind complex. That motion or this whatever is happening to the body and mind, it is transferred to the consciousness. So we think that the consciousness is moving, but actually it is the reflection of the consciousness which is energizing this body, and through this the body is moving, and we feel that the consciousness is moving. While what is this consciousness? One all pervading principle. One all pervading principle. And how long will that consciousness be there? We usually think that when the brain is destroyed, the body is destroyed, consciousness is gone. When the body is dead. So then consciousness also, we think it will die. So here Yamadharmaraja is saying what? When the brain is destroyed, consciousness will continue to exist. So sa eva adhyaha sa u shvaha. It is there now also, and it will also be in the future. And so this question that happened in the first chapter, first Valli, the 20th one. Yeyam ya iyam prete vichikitsa manushe asti iti eke na ayam asti iti cha eke. So that is being answered here. So this atma ya iyam prete, this consciousness, vichikitse manushe, people question asti iti eke na ayam asti iti. Does it exist or will it not exist after death? And this is a big question. There is a very big doubt that after my death, will I continue to exist or not? So the question is a legitimate one because I don't see anything surviving. It is not my experience. So some people say there is something surviving. The people who are Shastragya, who have known this knowledge from some guru. So when some people say this, there are also most people who are saying this Atma is not surviving. So here Yamaraja is saying, Saushvaha, Sau. So this Atma will survive. It will be there afterwards also. So when the Sukshma Shariram also itself is going to from this body to the next body, then also this consciousness will be carrying it. So this Sukshma Sharir itself, we say, is going through multiple bodies. So what to talk about the Atma, which is the source of this. So etad vaitat, this consciousness is the one which you will wanted to know through the through your question that Nachiketas wanted to know what is the nature of this Atma. So we go to the next one.
So you were saying before, Sukshma Sharir goes from one body to another body along with the consciousness.
Mhm.
So in that does that mean that this Sukshma Sharir is also immortal?
Sukshma Sharir is immortal in the sense it has no beginning. Right? It has no beginning. It is born out of ignorance. Ignorance has no beginning. But it will have an end when there is liberation. But until there is liberation, it will keep on going from one month to another.
When the Shah is attained or the it's attained that the Sukshma Sharir will not be there.
So it is
Because the
relatively immortal.
consciousness will be merged in the super consciousness.
Yeah.
Supreme consciousness.
It will merge into the supreme consciousness, or people say it will merge into the Prakriti, nature, so whatever. So then no more Vasana will be left. No. So once mind is illuminated, the Vasana is gone. Vasana is gone, then moksha is there. So mind will merge back. So another set of two verses. यथोदकं दुर्गे वृष्टं पर्वतेषु विधावति एवं धर्मान् पृथक् पश्यान् तेनानुविधावति. Again, यथोदकं दुर्गे वृष्टं पर्वतेषु विधावति एवं धर्मान् पृथक् पश्यान् तानेव अनुविधावति. So yatha udakam durge Prishtam. So just like there is water or rain that is raining on the top of a very remote. Durga is something that is not easy to reach. Durge. So just like there is a fort, so fort is also called Durg. So why do we call it? Because it is very difficult to penetrate inside that. Huh? So like a high place, a high mountain, on that when some water is raining, Parvateshu Vidhavati. So when it rains there, then it spreads everywhere. Vidhavati, it spreads everywhere. So it gets split into water droplets, or a flowing small stream, or a small ponds, or small puddles, you can say, huh? When the water is flowing down, some puddles will collect, and there will be that rain will be there for some time, and then again it will go back into the soil. So in this way, evam dharman pitak pasya. In the same way, all of these atmas, all these jivas. So dharma means also the nature of substance. But what is the nature coming from? Everything is coming from Atma only. So that is why Atma, Dharman is also used for Atma, the Jivatma basically in the sense. Because Jivatma will have different connections, different bodies through which it will connect to. So every Jivatma will have a unique characteristics. So evam dharman prithak pashyan tanev anudhavati. In the same way, that one Atma which is undivided, it appears many. So what is the basic thought here? The basic thought here is just like when water, it rains from the clouds and it falls on the mountain, and it spreads into small bits of water or water bodies, then that's water is the one same water only, but it is appearing as many. Same way, this one Atma also, when it projects the universe, it appears as separate jiva. It appears as many. So this manyness is imposed on this jivatma. So here, in this two concluding mantras of this section, this Yamadharma Raja, he wants to emphasize that this Dvaita Darshanam, this duality, this vision of duality, will lead to mortality. Yeah? Because of this, we'll have to keep having, births and births and death, you can say. Whereas this Advaita Darshanam, it will lead to immortality. So here, we are talking about mortality. So in this mantra, he says, Dvaita Darshanam. So seeing division, seeing that this water is split into many parts, seeing the differences. So, or the Atma, this is Dharman. So Dharman Prithak Pasyan. Here Dharma means Jivatma, as we said, and not the Dharma of this Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, Purushartha. So this is not that. It means the Jivam Bahutvam, Jivatma Bahutva Darshanam, seeing all the different Jivatmas as separate. So therefore, you will think that this is Jivatma 1, this is Jivatma 2, this is Jivatma 3. So, but I am one Jivatma, you are another. This duality, this separation that we see, due to this, there is transaction. Due to this is transaction. And because of transaction, there will be two kinds of transaction, positive and negative. Positive transaction is punyam, negative transaction is papam. Right? So this darshanam, anyone who sees, tanev anuvidhavati, he will be reborn again and again also. And he will be born again and again. So, Tan Ev means the very same word, with Jivatma, the very same word of plurality. He will be reborn again and again. So, just like the water is running down and splitting into separate parts, this Jivatma will also be running and splitting into different parts again and again. He will be born in different bodies. Just like that water is born into different bodies. So there is a hole in the ground, there is a big hole, and depending on whichever position that water is flowing through, it will take up different shapes and sizes, and therefore it will be, in a way, it is being born again and again. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. He will continue to have, because of that, Dvaita Darshanam. So to convey this example is given, Yatha Durge Prishtam Udakam, just like it is raining on the slope of the mountain. This water gets divided into several small streams, and then gradually the water will get absorbed, we saw. So if it gets divided and it gets dissipated and then it gets destroyed. So this is like we also taking birth. So we take birth and then we get separated and we then finally die. So this, it gets divided, and so what divided water is destroyed. Whereas imagine the very same stream, it gets united together, it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. No, other streams are coming together, and then it becomes such a huge river that it never gets destroyed. Therefore, unity is strength and division is destruction. We find that in everything in life. Whenever we do something together, unity, that unity will be give us strength. When people are doing something together. So just as these dividing waters, they will dissipate and disappear. Similarly, the Jivatma who sees division, he will also get destroyed. So thus, Dvaita Darshanam leads to mortality. So we saw the example of the wave also. No? So if there is a wave which is looking upon itself as a wave, it is going to see plurality. Because naturally the wave will be, it is frightened. No, it will have destruction. Whenever the wave reaches the shore, it will be destroyed. So because even the biggest wave will have to reach the shore and disappear, imagine if that same wave understands that there are not many waves, but there is only one water. Then there is no question. Then there is no question of fear or of mortality. The wave can say, I will eternally be there. Therefore, whatever Nam Rup I take, whatever names and forms I take, I, the water, I am eternal. So, Veva Darshanam is Dvaita Darshanam, which means mortality, and water Darshanam is Advaita Darshanam, which is immortality. So, whichever way you want to look at yourself, you can think. And the next one, you can have a quick look. So, Yathodakam Shuddhe Shuddham Asiktam Tadrigev Bhavati Evam Punarvijanita Atma Bhavati Gautama. So, Yathodakam Shuddhe Shuddham Asiktam Tadrigev Bhavati Evam Punarvijanata Atma Bhavati Gautama. So, same, this water, Yatha, the water example is given in a different manner. First was the separation. Now it is the merger. So yatha udakam shuddhe. So if you take a small glass of water, a small quantity of water, and this water, this small quantity of water is then you can say mixed or put back together into another glass of water, right? And then what will happen? The two waters, can you separate them? Unseparate. Tadrige eva bhavati. It will be the same as that only. The first water will become like the second only. Tadrika, like that. Bhavati. So, evam munehe vijanatah atma bhavati gautama. So, if someone who knows this, the muni, the wise person, so for him, the atma also becomes one. So his atma also becomes one, or immortal or eternal. So in this mantra, Yam Dharmaraja is talking about now. Earlier it was Dvaita Darshanam, this Jivatma becoming many. Now the Advaita Darshanam. So Jivatma, Paramatma, Ekyam is revealed through this example. So the Jivatma is compared to the small glass of water, Shuddham Udakam. But remember, Shuddham is used here. Why? Because when you are using Shuddha, that means a pure Atma with a pure mind, that only can merge. The other one can't. The one that has the impurities, that will not merge. So, and Paramatma also is also water, but you can take it a bigger, you can say the ocean, right? Or the total water body. So Jivatma is a river and Paramatma is the ocean. So, but the common factor for both of them is pure water. Shuddham, udakam, shuddhe, udake, asiktam. This pure water mixing into pure water. So when pure water from one container is poured into the pure water of another container, tadrik eva bhavati. They become both the same. You will not be able to differentiate. Like if you take some muddy water and mix it into pure water, it will make the other water also muddy, right? So therefore it will not mix, or you can say you can differentiate, right? Or in another way, if you try to mix water and oil, so what will happen? It will not mix. The oil will float on top, right? So therefore the mixing will not happen. It has to be, both have to be the same essence, right? So one glass is in a glass, one is in a glass tumbler, other is in a silver tumbler also. Both are poured together. After pouring, Can you differentiate? No. Even the if the vessel holding them is different, still you will not be able to tell. Even जो बर्तन है तब भी है ना. So they become inseparably, indistinguishably one. So in the same way, through Vedantic sadhana, we are as though pouring Jivatma water into Paramatma water. This is Jivatma water, that is Paramatma water, right? And by this pouring, the Jivatma and Paramatma become indistinguishably once. Asiktam Tadrigeva Bhavati. So both become identical or inseparable or indistinguishable. So evam, in the same way, evam Atma Bhavati Gautam. Gautam here is used for Nachiketas. So from the name of his father. So He Gautam, He Nachiketas, Atma becomes one for such a wise person. This means that the adjective Jeev behind the Atma and the adjective Param behind the Paramatma, both adjectives you have to remove. You remove both the adjectives. So what will be left? Only the Atma. And just through adjective, you are qualifying, you are limiting. So once you remove the adjective, there is no separation. Both are removed. That adjective is the impurity. That adjective is the impurity. You have to drop that adjective. Or we call it adhyas, or we call it superimposition, right? So anyone who knows that, munehe vijanatah, for a wise person, the wise person who knows the truth, someone who has done shravan, manan, nidityasanam, so then he has become a muni. Muni means what? Mananshil. He has meditated on this knowledge. He has clarified this knowledge. He has understood clearly this knowledge. So for a wise person who has done Vedant Vichar, Atma Ekaha Bhavati. So and in this example, we are also getting some other nice hints. So Yamadharma Raja has said Shuddha Jalam poured into Shuddha Jalam. That means both must be Shuddh. First is one is that, and if one is Ashuddh, the impurity will still be there. So therefore, where is the impurity? Is there any impurity in Paramatma? No, no. So Paramatma is pure. So he doesn't have impurity. Impurity can only be in the Jivatma, in one of the classes. So therefore, who will have to do the purificatory process? The purification has to be done by the Jivatma. So only the Jivatma requires the sadhana or purificatory process to merge. And
So how would you say that both the adjectives are have purities?
adjective means Jibhav and Paramatma Bhav. So I am the holder of this body, or I am the holder of the whole universe. Both are impurities. But when I remove the impurity, when I remove that I am the holder of this body, then I become the infinite Atma. The holder is gone. Similarly, when I remove the what we call the reflecting medium. So at the level of the samashti, Srishti, who is the holder of that? That is the Paramatma. And the Jivatma is holder at the individual level. So when we remove the individual and we remove the whole Srishti also, what is left? Paramatma is also Atma and Jivatma is also Atma. Right? So therefore we need sadhana for the Jivatma. So this is the first thing. And in one more thing, any example, if have to be used very, very properly. Every example cannot be perfect. So so it can create confusion. So in this example, we have talked about two waters taken from two different containers. So merger of the waters is what? It is a physical event, something you're doing. So which happens is time. So now reading this example, you should not think that the Jivatma is sitting here, Paramatma is there. I have to go there. I have to purify myself. So you should remember that this is not a physical event. Why? Because Atma is all pervading everywhere. So where will you go? No place left to go. Therefore, this merger is only in the mental conception. Merger is in the knowledge, right? You're just removing the wrong notion that you are separated and that there is any kind of division. Once you drop the notion, then and how do you drop any false notion? Any false notion is dropped by the right understanding, right? Right understanding. So understanding is an event happening in the intellect. Therefore, the intellectual understanding should take place. And because of that intellectual understanding, no more thought that I want to merge into Paramatma. Because I know that I am Paramatma. So suppose somebody says, I know I am Paramatma, but I want to merge. So very clearly he is not understood. So the moment you grasp the teaching, there is no more desire. They have no desire to merge. That is why we say for the mumukshu, the one seeking liberation, when the knowledge has been perfected, the desire for liberation also is gone. There is no more desire. There is no more desire to merge the desire, because the merger is not needed. It was the aikyam or the unity was always there, right? So we have run a bit out of time. We've crossed the time. So I had a story in mind, the Krishna and Govardhan Parvat, but that will take up in the next class. Yeah. So we'll wind up for today. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Om Tat Sat.